Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening, finally. The war on boobs. I could deal with the war on men. I could deal with the war on women. Fuck, I could deal with the racist cops going out killing black people, okay? But the minute you start waging war on boobies, I think we have a big problem, okay? The line in the sand has been drawn. We are all ready for battle, and we're ready to take you motherfuckers down. You stay off of my boobs. Or boobs in general. I don't have them, but generally speaking, no boobs for you. Recently, controversy has strucketh at a high school. Honestly, I don't even know which high school it is at. This is about a teacher who is trans, who is chosen to wear what is being reported as prosthetic boobs. Ontario transgender teacher sparks controversy by wearing giant prosthetic breasts in class. In recent letters to parents, the school confirmed the video's authenticity, but implied that it's illegal to even suggest that the garb may be inappropriate. Can I show this on Twitch? Well, we're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Huge. Nipples and all. I should probably just leave it at that because I genuinely think I could get in trouble for TOS if I keep on showing this. Long story short, this is a teacher. She's trans. She's a woman. Based, red-pilled, more power to her. And she's chosen to wear prosthetic boobs of epic proportion to school. A lot of people are mad about this. First, we have the right wing, which are basically going like, oh, you're enacting your sick fetishes in front of the children. Oh, which is like ridiculous. Come on, calm the fuck down. And then you have the more lefty people that are like, oh, it's fine. She's trans, you know, based, whatever. She has dysphoria. If this is helping, then what do you have a problem with it? I mean, even the school has backed her. They said that, nope, we support trans people, and this includes the giant globe-sized boobs, and deal with it. Statement posted last week, Halton District School Board Chair said the teacher portrayed in the images is an industrial arts instructor. This is what the school says. Gender identity and gender expression are protected grounds under the Ontario Human Rights Code. We would like to take this opportunity to reiterate to our community that we are committed to establishing and maintaining a safe, caring, inclusive, equitable, and welcoming learning and working environment for all students and staff. Some people probably want to know what I think about this, you know, the war on boobs. I'm against this. I said it, okay? Mic drop. Call me reactionary, call me Adolf Hitler, nail me to your cross, whatever, okay? Yeah, I think that this is actually really, really ridiculous. And I think the fact that the school is siding with this person is pretty gross, to be honest. And let me explain why. Some people are going to inevitably say like, oh, well, would you hire somebody if they had a boob job, like breast implants? The answer to that would be no. But why is this different? Because based on what we know right now, these are prosthetic breasts. This teacher, she is choosing to wear these. She doesn't need to be wearing breasts this large. Implants are one thing. Your work does not have a say, or at least they shouldn't, have a say over what you do with your body offside of or outside of work premises. If you want to go get a surgery and get breast implants, fine. You can't just take them out one day. That is now like a part of you, right? This is like you're just deliberately choosing to wear breasts that are gigantic, beyond any sort of realism. For what purpose? I'm not going to buy the argument that if this person has gender dysphoria, this is the only thing that's helping to alleviate that. Nah. No. I don't buy that at all. Okay? If you have gender dysphoria, odds are you want to be recognized as a woman. And yes, that might even include certain biological factors that we categorize as being female, which we wrongly attribute to being that of a woman as well. So if you want to wear prosthetic breasts, that's not even the problem. The problem is really the size. You don't need to be wearing boobs this big to help with dysphoria. And you are choosing to wear them, and they can also be taken off at any time. That doesn't even look like real boobs. That looks like you ate two boobs right there. Holy shit. This is like a very unique situation because it's hard to compare it to implants or some woman who naturally has large breasts or something. You couldn't fire somebody over that because that's literally their body and you can't discriminate against someone for the size of their breasts. But if they are choosing deliberately to put fake breasts on, prosthetic breasts that are this gigantic, that it almost looks comedic, then yeah, I think that that's inappropriate, truthfully. The fact that the school is just like siding with the teacher and basically masking it with like trans rights, is such a bad look. This is such a optics hill that does not need to be fought and died upon. This just doesn't need to happen. This person's deliberately choosing to wear this. I mean, I could see like a student or a teacher getting in trouble if they wore, say, multiple push-up bras to try to look really big and busty. Like, that might get you in trouble. Because there's a difference between discrimination based on your body that can just not be changed, and then you making a choice to exaggerate certain body features to a point of, I would say, impropriety. It's just inappropriate. It's also almost mocking. This doesn't look like a real real boobs. Like, if you had somebody who wasn't trans, who had boobs this size, we would probably still all assume that they had implants or some massive amount of surgery done. And then on top of that, you have the fucking nipples. Like, come on. This is just not acceptable. And you know what? I'm not going to be the good, sweet little lefty who just sides with whichever is trendy or whatever. No, this is just not okay. And I think that it's okay to acknowledge that this is pretty yikes. And hey, at the end of the day, you're making the choice to wear boobs this big. You can also take them off. Wear something more appropriate to work. You have the ability to take them off. You have the ability to put them back on. I would argue that almost makes it in line with dress. So put something more appropriate on for work. I feel like there's being too much lenience in this instance given to this person simply because they're trans. I feel like if a cis woman was showing up and choosing to wear prosthetic boobs that looked like this, they would be like, hey, stop doing that, please. But I feel like there's a little too much lenience given because of the LGBT issue at play as well. And I don't like that either. I don't think that behavior that is clearly inappropriate should be swept under the rug, and that rug being, oh, trans rights, we're inclusive, gender identity, yay. Like I've said before when it comes to child drag queens or child transgender models, you can be pro-LGBT all day, every day, as I am, and also recognize when certain behaviors that might be carried out by LGBT people but are not exclusive to LGBT people are inappropriate and should be condemned. Being pro-LGBT does not mean you accept every single thing that happens that is ever done by a gay or trans person. Being pro-LGBT does not mean accepting every bit of behavior, no matter how inappropriate it might be, just because you're pro-LGBT. That is not what being pro-LGBT means. In fact, I would almost argue that, and this might sound like a more conservative take, maybe it is, but I don't care because it's true. It is also a fact of the matter that if you are going to allow such exceptions for people just because they're trans, I would argue that that's almost taking us backwards, because now we're past the point of, hey, treat everybody equally. Now we're, oh, because you're trans, you get to push the rules a little bit more. Not only is that just inappropriate, I would say it's actually demeaning. So this is not something that I'm a fan of, not something I'm in favor of. Again, the conservatives, though, yelling that this is like a fetish in front of kids, they're being over the top extreme. A fan of this, okay? I don't know what side of the war on boobs I stand. Maybe I'm the boob centrist. I'm like the cleavage in the situation. So now let's hear Tucker Carlson give his take. Now that I've given my take, which was completely rational and reasonable and centrist and beautiful and perfect in every conceivable way, you would have thought it came from the mind of God. Now let's hear Tucker Carlson give his take, which is going to be the complete opposite. All right, Tucker Carlson.
It's hard to believe this is happening, but we're sad to tell you it's not just happening in Canada. You see versions of it everywhere, including in this country. And to be clear, what this is, children being used as props in the sexual fantasies of adults. Children being used as props in the sexual fantasies of adults. Are you okay with that? Is any normal person okay with that? It's completely wrong. It's utterly outside the bounds of what's acceptable.
Is this what happens every time you eat green M&Ms? I hope you've never eaten green M&Ms in front of your kids, because then you're enacting a sexual fantasy in front of kids.
Outside the bounds of what's acceptable. It's not a close call. And yet suddenly teachers, licensed teachers, are bragging about it on social media.
I have had multiple students come out to me, not just with their sexuality, but also with their gender identity. It's one of the reasons I think it's so important to be out and loud and proud.
I teach my element.
Wait, are you showing this and we're supposed to be upset about it? This has nothing to do with the boob thing, buddy. Okay, well, this is just adorable. Leave it to Tucker Carlson to go from, like, a take that I can kind of understand his perception from to just bashing trans people and labeling them all groomers. This is incredible. So we went from they're enacting sexual fantasies on children to now students coming out to their teacher. Is also that teacher enacting a sexual fantasy? Are you brain dead, Tucker? Don't answer that. I know you are. Are the Fox News studio walls painted with lead paint? Really? This is not comparable. Wearing gigantic prosthetic boobs that can be taken off and put on at any given time is different from a teacher admitting that, or not even admitting, a teacher saying that students have come out to her. That's a good thing. How is this a sexual fantasy, Tucker? It's incredible how quick you can go from like, hey, this thing is actually a little questionable to all gay people are groomers. It's so yikes.
Out and loud and proud.
I teach my elementary school students about gender identity. Some people are girls, some are boys, some are both, some are neither.
I might tell this kid.
Literally, why is I love how like they're showing clips and we're supposed to be scared. I love it. He just knows his audience so well that they're like drunk boomers on their trailer park sitting there and they're like, no goddamn blue-haired teacher's gonna tell my students what's going on with the damn genders. There's not even any critical thought given. It's just, look guys, be scared, huh?
Some are both, some are neither.
I might tell this kid.
True.
We do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he like looks around and he goes, oh, that one?
Wait, so are you against pledging allegiance to flags then, Tucker? Because, really? Okay, so I think pledging allegiance to any flag is fucking cringe, okay? Pledging allegiance to the American flag is also cringe. Have you ever even thought about it, really? How cringy it is that kids every day at school are like, more or less expected to, like, participate in the ritual in which I pledge allegiance to my flag. Under God, who rules us all, I will be a good cannon fodder for the military when more oil is needed. Jeez, buddy boy, chill out. All right, pledging allegiance to all flags are cringe. It almost sounds like it's a joke, like she's laughing. This isn't like some evil, devious thing, but he knows his audience, and he knows his audience is stupid enough to watch this and freak the fuck out. Their hate boner will burst out of their fucking pants.
So again, if you were walking through the park with your kids and a stranger came up and started talking to them, say to your 5th grader, your 5-year-old, or even your 14-year-old, about sex, what would you do? Well, you would call the police, of course.
None of what you just showed was talking about sex. It was gender identity. That is explicitly different from sex. Dude, I love this. So first we had the conservative caveman running around going, no, sex and gender is exactly the same. Well, sorry, buddy. The world moved on without you. You're lost in pre-evolution. We'll wait for you. Fuck you. And now the rest of the world has moved on where we more or less recognize the difference between sex and gender. But see, Tucker, you're forgetting, guys, he's still stupid. So he thinks sex, gender, same thing. So students being talked to about gender equals sex, equals grooming, equals be scared. It's hilarious. He's weaponizing his own dipshittery. He's weaponizing his own ignorance to push forward a narrative. Man, every time I watch this guy, it is astounding how flawed his reasoning is, how blatantly wrong his arguments are, and just how embarrassing his overall demeanor is. Holy shit.
That's not allowed. It's a crime because they're children. But teachers are allowed to do it. And then
So that clip right there is very creepy. What does a drag show have to do with schools? What does a drag show have to do with LGBT? What does it have to do with anything? Why can't you guys just say, hey, we're against kids going to drag events entirely? Maybe they're against saying that because then they'd have to be consistent and say they're also against child beauty pageants, which happen all the time in the Republican South. So I don't know.
to brag about it. And it's not stopping with classroom instruction. All over the country, adults are forcing children to attend drag shows.
See, I would want to know what parent thinks like, yes, this is a good idea. I will take my child to this event, and then I will let him give money to them on stage. This is an issue in and of itself, unrelated to LGBT stuff. But again, they're incapable of seeing nuance. Like, a very legitimate conversation could be had about why this is bad and you shouldn't bring kids to events like this. I would never bring my kid to an event like this. What does this have to do with gay people again? It's Britney, bitch. It's literally like if I was going over Tucker Carlson right now and I was like, hey guys, let me pull up this clip showing how a Republican was really creepy towards a child. Man, Tucker, what do you have to say for yourself, huh? I guess all Republicans are groomer creeps now. What are you going to say about that one, bitch? It's just a non-argument. Address the question at hand. You haven't even mentioned the big boobas. You just went on to sexual fetishes and then lying that a sexual fetish is the same as a child coming out to a teacher about their identity? Like, what? Wow, this was even worse than I thought. I was expecting at least something. Well, there's Cucker Tarlson and his big brain take, guys.